Back in the 2020 election, ladies and gentlemen, there was a ad that came out and it was called "Get Your Booty to the Polls." And of course, we know that featured some strippers and everything from Georgia. And they was trying, of course, that was targeting black men because, why would you be putting that out there to target black women? Because, the Democrats have a hard time getting black men to come out and vote these days, getting harder and harder and harder. A lot of black men have, in droves are abandoning the Democrat Party. Either they're sitting it out. Either they say they'd be independent. Some saying, shoot, I vote for the other side. But black men are very, very upset because that party has nothing for black men at all. They offer nothing to black men. Only thing they really offer something to is either you have to be a single mother or in poverty. That's the only thing that they can possibly even offer you. And they're not even offering programs and things like that anymore for even those, people, right? So would get your booty to the poll. And I guess some black men did get their booty to the poll and got Joe Biden and the rest of the Democrats in there. Now you got another one, I guess, trying to get your booties to the poll. Now, she's actually a whole Rhode Island state senator named Tiara Mack, 28 years old. She identifies as LGBT. Just letting you know that what her ideology is at. And so what everybody is tripping on is a video that was posted to her TikTok page. She is actually upside down twerking. But if you don't believe me, check it out.
Vote Senator Mack. This is tacky. This is lazy. What? Baby girl. Baby girl. No, this ain't it. This ain't it. Honey, baby, this ain't it. Because I have an Ivy League degree and I'm a sitting state senator. It's not about what I'm wearing. It's not about what I'm doing. They won't respect me regardless.
Now, you heard all the excuses that she had for her behavior, because when you get in certain positions, certain decorum is expected of you. When you are a mayor, when you are a state senator, when you are a congressperson, whatever places in government, the world expects a certain decorum. If you can't have that certain decorum, then you should not be in that position. But I talked about this, I think, on the Phillip show, my entertainment channel, about educated hood rats. I talked about that, where I say that they can speak so well and they could, look how she's dressed here, but they want to do some more hood rat ish, and that's what they want to do. And they on the weekends they'll do it. They'll get the Casamigos. They do everything they can, still being a hood rat, but they got education. Now, she said that she has an Ivy League degree. So what? It's amazing how black folks wrap yourself in identity of with the white man's paperwork. That's interesting to me. That's so interesting. But this is the black representation that we have today, folks. I mean, just gutter trash in a toilet and not having no proper response to it. The whole world sees this. The whole world is laughing at black America with this because she's representing the community, whether we like it or not. You see, other groups, they have women and they fighting for their group. For instance, let's put this up. Lauren Boebert, which is the dark-haired white woman, Republican, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, blonde-haired white woman, on the photo here. While Tiara here is twerking her behind with her white friends, these two women are fighting hard for white supremacy. Look at this next picture of Lauren Boebert with that gun. She wanted to bring that gun to Congress, but they wouldn't let her bring it. She's up here fighting hard for white supremacy. But yet, this Democrat, Tiara Mack, she's just shaking her booty. Look at AOC. AOC fights for the Hispanics all the time. She even trying to wedge Hispanics in to reparations. Anytime she get, a chance to, she's trying to wedge Hispanics in. So I expect her to fight for Hispanics. I don't have an issue with that. That's what she's supposed to do. Tiara not fighting for black people, but all she want to do is get on her head and twerk herself. This is the black representation we have. Then you look at the next lady here, Representative Grace Ming, Asian community. Grace Ming is doing what she needs to do, and she fought and sided with her particular people to fight for this hate crime bill. You better not even say nothing bad about an Asian, or they're gonna hit you with some charges. That's how serious it is now. But see, those women are fighting for their people. What Tiara fighting for? Just shaking her behind. I am so sick and tired of that. Look, twerking in itself. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm so sick of seeing twerking, y'all. It just annoys me because it's like it's more to a woman than shaking your behind, female. Seriously, a lot of men even getting turned off by that. That's not even men liking that mess too much no more, like it used to be, because it's done too much. That's why I love the wintertime. See, I love winter months. I love it. I love when it's cold. You know why I love when it's cold? Because you put some clothes on and actually be decent. That's the best time in America is when it's wintertime and it's freaking cold and you got your turtlenecks on and you got your jeans and sweatpants and everything else. Because a lot of times in this country, you have them walking around whoredom. You got freaking state senators in Rhode Island practicing whoredom, but that's all that is. All that old gyrating and twerking that she's doing. So we got to deal with the Congressional Black Caucus and the geriatrics there. And then this is the raccoons that's following right behind them. And this woman's 28 years old. She's 28. We always talk about we need younger representation, but we don't need that kind of representation. Not doing that. Other groups of women are fighting for their people, while this one's just mad and fighting for her right to twerk. What has she done for black people in Rhode Island? What has she done? But see, this is a running joke with the Democrat Party. See, they'll put people like her up there, no problem. But let it be a black woman that's fighting for the community. Let it be a black woman that's using her education for real, pointing out the issues and problems, trying to solve something. That black woman won't get no votes at all. See, let me tell y'all something about white supremacy. If white supremacy got you next to them and up there, they got something on you, or you a running joke. And they know you're not going to do nothing for black folk. You already sold out. Dr. King said when they kept trying to tell him, why don't he run for political office? Dr. King said, no, I will not run for political office because those people, I can't do nothing for black people. You can't fight for civil rights and be in politics at the same time. He said that. He knew that. And he knew them politicians were sold out, even way back then, the few that they had. But this is your black politicians, and you wonder why we don't get nowhere. Let me tell y'all something. And I've said this before. We could talk about white supremacy, and yes, it has a bearing on our community. But we do need to start speaking up a lot more about these black politicians that's selling us out, not doing nothing for black people, and it needs to be consequences for this. It needs to be consequences. See, something like this. She needs to be out of there. She needs to go. Now, I don't think the black population is too big in Rhode Island, so white folks are probably keeping her up there. And I heard the way she speaks. I said, oh, God. It's not that she speaks clear English, but I just know that type that speak like that. And y'all know what I mean. She's not deep in no community. I seen her TikTok. She all in the LGBT parade, but she ain't saying nothing. She ain't had nothing on her TikTok about Brittany Griner, though. It's interesting. All these so-called black LGBT people, they not rallying for Brittany Griner, a fellow LGBT person. But see, I told y'all, the Democrat Party runs that group, right? And I told y'all, black politicians can't say a word unless they give them the green light to say something. And they didn't give them the green light to say something about Brittany Griner, a fellow black woman that she could be speaking out about. Why is she talking about Brittany Griner and getting her out of Russian jail? But that's what she want to do. Get on her head and just twerk. The reason why I can't stand that twerking, because when you just sitting up here just offering your body or gyrating your body like you some freaking female on OnlyFans, it tells me you have nothing to offer. People don't care about no freaking Ivy League degree. Most people that got Ivy League degrees aren't twerking online. They're not doing it. And if they're doing it, they're not doing it where people can see it. They got it offline, no cameras. Now TMZ catch them, that's one thing, but not actually filming it and posting it themselves, no. Because they're supposed to be, and I'm using air quotes, prestigious, right? But this is black representation, y'all. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Until black people make a concerted effort to punish black politicians and anybody that's in positions of power to sell us out by, mobilizing against them and saying, you know what, we're going to come out and vote, but we're going to vote against you because you did this one thing that we don't like. And we don't want to be laughed at like we're being laughed at right now throughout the world. Everybody looking at that and say, well, why is she doing that? I mean, what's up with her? And once again, you could say she don't represent me. Man, the way it works is she do represent you. Unfortunately, she represent me. Unfortunately, especially in this country, a black politician's in the headlines for twerking instead of being in the headlines for fighting for reparations. Why don't she do that? Why don't she fight for black people to become homeowners? Our home ownership rates haven't changed since the 1960s. Why don't she address the black people with home ownership there? Why don't she address the situation with that's going on with parents and kids and school safety, and all of that? It's a whole lot of things that she could be addressing, but she's fighting to shake her butt. Oh boy! So it lets you know, fellas, a degree don't mean crap with character. It don't mean crap with anything. When they say, I got an Ivy League degree and you still a hood rat. And that's what you showed. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember at one point in time in this country, not too long ago, when I was growing up in the 80s, as a little kid in the 80s, 90s, late in the 90s, I graduated high school, almost toward the end. I graduated high school in the 90s. And you'd have never saw a black woman doing something like this, especially a black woman who is a state senator. That kind of woman would normally command a lot of respect. People would come to her and, talk to her about issues and problems that maybe they could try to fix in the community. They had morals, decency, usually married, with a husband and some children, go to church, things like that, right? Normally in our community. A bad thing about a person in Gen X like myself, which I made the last year, the last year of what Gen X can be, I literally got to see the change. I got to see from how we were as black people, how we had more morality, how we had more decency, more common sense. Even though we went through the crack epidemic, we still had more decency, more and common sense. And then I got to see the morph until today when the millennials and Gen Z showed up and that environment in America has changed. I got to see all that. And it's like, what the hell happened to black people? Like, y'all have literally turned into something that we used to say, ooh, that's some folks do stuff like that. We don't do nothing like that. Certain crimes, we hit a crime like, oh, we know who did that. Now today, y'all literally doing everything them folks is doing. Y'all have literally integrated into their filth. Y'all have integrated into their evil. Y'all integrated into all of it. And a lot of you no earthly good, no matter what. That's why I said I just can't relate to a lot of people today. I just can't. That's why when you hear me talking about the African continent, I like it because it reminds me back of the 80s and 90s when black folks had more sense and was more conservative. I think the most conservative country I've been to so far is Ethiopia. Man, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to go to a very conservative country that's not tolerated, go to Ethiopia. South Africa, I mean, I didn't see it too bad, but I mean, a lot more going on to South Africa than, but yeah, Ethiopia is the one, or any Islamic country, even places like Turkey wouldn't even allow that mess. That's what she's doing. Talking about you gonna stay in government? Man. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, any brothers and sisters in Rhode Island listening to this, yeah, go vote that woman out. That woman needs to go. See, if we would enact consequences for these actions, that's when act right comes in. Anybody that do things like this embarrass the community, anybody that sells us out down the river, and we enact consequences as a community on them. See, one thing that white folks don't do, they enact consequences on any white person that do some crap like that. They're not going to put up with that. But we just let any old thing go on. And that's why we are running joke. That's why no one really respects our community. It's because we don't check it. See, we were checking that behavior, then that means we should be respected because we're not allowing out-of-pocket behavior like this to go on. We're not letting this raccoon behavior, 'cause that's what it is. We're not letting this raccoon behavior go on. We're not sitting up here allowing even Cardi B to have conversations with political candidates. We should have had more backlash about that. That should have pissed off black voters, right? How in the hell you gonna talk to Cardi B? You can't go talk to other black women that got sense and who do that all day long. You know what I'm saying? Until black folks learn to enact consequences for actions like this, we will continue to be disrespected and a running joke throughout the world. So now when I probably go to Kenya, I'm probably gonna be asked about this crap. Like always, everybody see what happens in America. Then when I show up, hey, what was up with that state senator out of what's that place, Rhode Island or whatever? Like, why was she doing that? Asking me 1,000 questions. That's what happens, brothers and sisters. The moment we show up, because we're representative of Black America, we ask questions about what happened in Black America. And I say, oh, God, here we go. I said, I got to hear this probably in November when I go to Kenya. Jesus. And I have a response for it. I do. I'm going to say that woman's crazy. I say that woman doesn't represent our community. And you know, she's part of that other community that y'all wouldn't let in Kenya when Obama tried to bring that community in ya. Or they probably, okay. Because, you know, in the West, they allow that mess. You know, in African countries, no, not too many gonna allow that. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you should hit the subscribe button. That way you know exactly when we post another podcast. Click the like button. That's also very important. And we appreciate you stopping by. That's and everything. And, you know, you can join our YouTube channel memberships or donate on Cash App. And we'll see you on the next one.